Now let us take second case. Mr. A is providing accounting services from his back office, other than the registered place of business at Delhi. So if it is, other than registered place of business, or other whichever place of business it is, from wherever he is providing the services, that will be the location of supply. So he's providing services from Delhi. Delhi will be the location of supply. Next one, consultancy is mainly provided from Mumbai with some help from Delhi office. It is possible that a company is having two branches, Mumbai and Delhi. Mainly the consultancy services are provided from Mumbai, but some help was taken from Delhi office. So, in such cases two establishments or two offices are involved. When more than one establishment is involved, the establishment which is most directly concerned with provision of supply. Obviously Mumbai is mainly concerned, so it is directly concerned with the provision of supply. So, location of supplier of service will be Mumbai. And third one, like, there is online marketing providing from all the branches of A Limited, which is incorporated in Mumbai. A Limited is having incorporated office in Mumbai, and 3 branches: Bangalore, Delhi, and Kolkata. From all of them, the online marketing campaign was run, and services are being provided. So you can see the first 3 clauses are not applicable. Neither it is from registered office, not from any single office, other than registered office. It is not from collectively, but one office is directly concerned. Not like that. So it is none of above case. And in none of above case, the usual place of residence of supply. So usual place of residence. In case of incorporated entity, like a limited, will be the incorporated office Mumbai. So location of supplier in this case is Mumbai. Now let us see one summary chart for all the relevant provisions regarding interstate supply. First, focus on goods. What is location of supplier of goods is not defined under the Act. We will see this one by one. What is place of supply is actually divided in 2 parts. In case of import or export of goods, that will be governed under Section 11. And for local supplies within India, it will be governed by Section 10. So we will understand now one by one these provisions. Whereas, in case of services, location of supplier, we have already discussed. This is covered under Section 2(15). And place of supply again is divided in 2 parts. If location of supplier and recipient, both are in India. So supplier and recipient both are in India means it is a local transaction. Local Indian transaction we can say. Then governed by Section 12. And anyone is out of India. It means either the supplier is outside India, so it is import, or it is the recipient outside India. Then that will covered under Section 13. So now we have to go in deep, one by one, and understand first about provisions regarding interstate supply of goods. And first focus only on goods. And then services one by one. Location of supply and place of supply. These are key terminologies for deciding. If you remember our discussion for interstate supply, interstate supply will be treated if supply involves location of supplier and place of supply in 2 different states or union territories. So what is location of supplier and place of supply? Let us try to understand. Location of supplier of goods is a term that is not defined in the law of GST. So, it is a registered place of business or fixed establishment from where supply is made. See, the location of supplier of goods is logically a place from where supply is taking place. Like for example, from a factory in Mumbai, where dispatching goods. So the location of supplier will be that particular factory. This term location of supplier of goods is not defined under the law. So as per our common sense common logic, we have to interpret this place of supply of goods other than import or export, and place of supply of goods imported into or exported from India are governed by Section 10 and Section 11 respectively. So let us understand now one by one these terminologies. Under Section 10, place of supply of goods. Under Section 11, this is divided in various different situations or categories. Supply in was movement of goods. Supply don't involve in movement of goods. Goods are delivered to a recipient on the direction of third person. Goods are assembled or installed at site. Goods are supplied on board conveys. And supply of goods cannot to be determined by about 5 clauses. So in such situations, what will be the place of supply one by one? Just go through this for the time being. We will discuss in detail about these provisions now. In first case, location of goods at a time at which the movement of goods terminate for delivery to the recipient. As a logic for GST we can say, GST is destination-based tax. So what is the final destination at which goods are being delivered? That is a place of supply. That is a point of taxation. So location of goods at the time at which the moment of goods terminates. Movement of goods terminates means the moment ends. For delivery to the recipient, it means they are delivered to the recipient. The transport or the moment ends. Wherever that ends, that is a place of supply. We will discuss this with one example, one by one. For the time being, just read the Act. What it mentioned. Supply does not involve movement of goods. Location of such goods. At the time of the delivery of the recipient, goods are delivered to the recipient on the directions of third person. Be deemed that the third person has received the goods. The principal place of business of such third person. We'll discuss. It is not so confusing, editors. It is very simple concept. But we will discuss it with one example later. Goods are assembled or installed at site. Place on such assembly or installation. Goods are supplied on board conveys. Location at which goods are taken on board. And supply of goods cannot to be determined in such manner as may be prescribed. So this is the Act. Let us try to understand this. Each and every principle. One by one with examples. First one. Supply involves movement of goods. Whether by supplier means. Either the supplier is sending the goods. He is moving the goods for delivery. Or the recipient. Or any other person is transporter in between. For example. Then place of supply of goods will be what? Location of goods at the time at which the movement of goods terminates for delivery to the recipient. In short, the delivery ends or the movement of goods ends when the delivery is taken by recipient. So where the particular thing happens, that particular place. Like simply, factories is at Mumbai, and it is supplying goods by transportation, and the recipient is located in Patna. So the transport will end, the movement of goods will terminate for delivery to recipient at Patna. So Patna will be the place of supply of goods, where the moment of goods terminate for its delivery to the recipient. It is so simple. Wherever there is a movement of goods involved, there the receiver finally receives that goods. Second situation is, supply does not involve movement of goods. It might be like and when you go in a shopping mall. You just buy the goods across the counter, you take the delivery and move. Place of supply of goods will be location of such goods at the time of delivery to the recipient. Like sell at a shop in Mumbai. That is delivered to the recipient at Mumbai. Obviously, as we discuss in the shopping mall, you just purchase some goods. So the place of supply of goods will be where you got to deliver. That is Mumbai place of supply. This is very simple. Third one. Goods are delivered to a recipient. on the direction of third person. He will be deemed that the said third person has received the goods, and place of supply of such goods will be principal place of business of such third person. This is worded very complicated, but the case is very simple. Try to understand. Like as a buyer, he is buying goods from Mr. B, who is a supplier, but instructed Mr. B that, don't deliver goods to me. Rather deliver goods to my customers C. So C is a recipient. Now try to understand this definition with this example. Goods are delivered to a recipient. B is delivering goods to C. C a recipient. Goods are delivered to a recipient on the directions of third person. So who is a third person here? Third person is A. He is instructing B. You deliver goods to C. So goods are delivered on the directions of third person. B tell that the a third person has received the goods. So it is deemed that B has received the goods. Now if you mind you to observe this particular transaction. Actual are two different transactions involved. The first transaction is between A and B, where A is purchasing goods. A is a supplier and B is a receiver. Whereas second transaction between buying and selling. A and C. A is selling the goods and C is the buyer. But for convenience instead of first in the goods from A, B, and then again transferring that good to C. Instead of that operational convenience. What A has asked B is, you directly supply goods to C. So actually there are two transactions involved in this. The first transaction is between A and B. And the second transaction is between A and C. Now we are just concerned now with the first transaction for the time being. Between A and B, A is purchasing goods from B. Now read this particular section, then it will be more clear to you. Goods are delivered to a recipient on the direction shop third person. Shoes deliver goods to C. On directions of Mr. A. Be deemed that the sales third person has received goods. Means it is deemed that A has received the goods. So, as per as transaction between A and B is concerned, A is deemed to have received the goods. So is it logical? Yes, it is logical. It is deemed that A has received the goods. So for this transaction between A and B, what is the place of supply of goods? The principal place of business of such third person. Means principal place of business of A will be the place of supply of goods. Transaction between A and B. So now if this transaction is clear between A and B, then transaction between A and C is very simple. C transaction between A and C is A is selling goods to C. Instead of first receiving goods to A go down and then transferring it to C, he has asked B to directly deliver it to C. So transaction A had C. We will say that it is a simple transaction of the first case that we just now discuss. The supply involves movement of goods. So supplies involving movement. And movement is ultimately terminated for delivery to the recipient at a place of C. So, between A and C, we will say that the transaction is terminated when C gets the delivery. So that supply of goods or transaction between A and C. But for transaction between A and B, on paper has not received the goods, but it is deemed to have been received the goods. And principal place of business of such a, like as having a main place of business in Mumbai. So, that is deemed to be the place of supply of goods.